Another legendary ball player to wear the Washington uniform was Joe Judge. The son of Irish immigrants, Judge defined first base in the early days of the Washington Nationals.
He was a little man with very nimble feet, very quick hands, not the kind of athletic skills that one associates with a first baseman today, but a brilliant defensive player. For about 30 years, he held the defensive record for best fielding first baseman. And he played in Washington forever, for 22 or 23 years. And then after he left us for a couple of years and played, I think, for the old Boston Braves and the Dodgers up in Brooklyn, he then retired and came back and served as Georgetown's baseball coach for another 20 years beyond that. So he was one of those incredible Washington institutions, and by all accounts beloved by practically everyone in the community. Very underrated, solid offensive player, had a career batting average of just under 300.
He was a key member of one of the greatest infields in baseball history, certainly in Washington baseball history. He played first base. He led the league in fielding, I think, 7 times. And he was crucial in, that team of Walter Johnson, Bucky Harris, Ozzie Bluge, Peckinpah, Goose Goslin. He was small for a first baseman, about 5'7" and 155 pounds. He was a member of the all-small team, which was in the Washington Star, him and Yogi Berra. He hit .385 in the 24 World Series, scored a winning run, I think, in Game 2. And he was a very low-key, very taciturn, quiet guy, which is why he hasn't been as well remembered, because he wasn't too demonstrative, didn't get arrested a lot. And Baseball Magazine called him the sheet anchor of the Washington infield. So he was kind of a slow, steady, get the job done, small first baseman, and was really crucial to them being good and to them winning. I mean, he had over 9 seasons he hit 300 or over, and he was particularly known for his fielding, which does not get you in the Hall of Fame as much these days, but he had an average which was the high water mark in the majors. It was something like, .995 or 996, which is virtually without error.
1924 was a magical year for the Washington baseball team. The year before, they finished 4th in the American League with less than a .500 record. With the same lineup from the 1923 season, the Nationals started the season slow, but things were about to change.
In June of 1924, the Washington team just got hot and started winning games, one after the other. A major reason was the manager, Bucky Harris, who was 27 years old, also played second base on the team, had been hired at the beginning of the season out of desperation. Clark Griffith had asked 4 or 5 other players, more experienced players from other teams, if they wanted to manage the team, and none of them did, because they didn't think the team had much chance. But Harris grabbed this opportunity to manage a big league team, and he just ran with it. And he was a fiery character, and he was a player, and the players loved him. And he wrote later that he would sit the players down, and he would explain to them that there was no team in the American League that was better than Washington. And he would tell them why, and he would go position by position, and he would tell them in particular. He would say to Joe Judge at first base, "Joe, there's no better first baseman in this league than you. And there's no better catcher than Muddy Rule. And we've got the best shortstop in Roger Peckinpah. We've got the best pitcher that ever lived, Walter Johnson. We're going to win this thing." And he fired them up, and he got them believing that they could win the pennant. And they did. And they called him the Boy Wonder because of what he accomplished with this team, and won the pennant. And it helped that Walter Johnson had one of his best seasons ever, won 13 games in a row down the stretch of the pennant race. And there was some luck involved, but mostly it was just this team would not give up.
With just 2 games left in the season, the Nationals beat the Boston Red Sox 4-2 to become champions of the American League.
It was the year the stars aligned for the Senators. Everything came together. Almost all of their principals had career years.
Sam Rice led the American League in hits with 216. Goose Goslin had more RBIs than Babe Ruth with 129. And the Washington pitching staff was the best in the league, led by Walter Johnson's 23 wins and the league-leading 2.72 earned run average.